What's going on, chat, man? What's going on with y'all boys? Y'all chilling? Listen, we're gonna listen to some hip hop news tonight, but tomorrow is gonna be all new music. We're gonna be having some fun with some music on, but yeah, we're gonna be having some fun listening to music tomorrow because I really want to do it right now, but we got a little bit of news that we got to talk about right now. 50 Cent's going viral. AI's taking over the U.S. economy. Fights in Indian politics. Apparently, they love fighting with shoes and slapping each other with shoes in the head. So we got a couple stuff to talk about tonight, and tomorrow we can listen to some music. Actually, let's start with Ak because since we're not gonna be doing all that talking, I miss music. Tomorrow morning we're going straight hammer back on the music. So
I said average audience on the network was 1.18 million, and it peaked at 1.25 million. Those Nielsen numbers do not include ESPN Plus viewership, only linear TV.
I'm home now. So.
Okay.
what happened?
Now, before it got kind of like. By the way, Lil Reese's put out a statement.
rails.
He said, "On my sister Riri, the whole story's cap." These tweets. There was a bunch of tweets.
Lay back in the summer
I post.
Yes.
at the midnight. Da-da-da-dum,
Earlier, I had a bunch of business calls around the time that I actually scheduled streams. If you're wondering why I didn't stream then, and today was another day of the saga of bringing Pluto to the hospital again. I did get some good news. I got some good news. Let me get on YouTube and whatever. Yeah, I did get some good news. So next week when I bring him back to the hospital, so it's not a couple days. I have a week till I bring him back to the hospital. They're going to do some radiology test or whatever they're going to do, but they're going to see if it's time to take off the cast off of his foot, which I think also means take off that collar he got on. He been super irritable, like hates that shit. So anyway, good. The last time we were on, some crazy breaking news happened while we were on stream, like middle of us being on stream. We seen motherfucking Donald Trump, who was giving a speech in some Butler, PA. He was almost killed by the bullet from a damn near sniper rifle from someone who we have now identified, or at least identified by the authorities as, I believe, 20-year-old Matthew Crooks. I believe that's his name. Our stream kind of got diverted from hip hop topics, so we did pretty much all Trump coverage until, we got off. It was just a breaking moment or breaking news moment, so we were just kind of going along with the ebbs and flows. However, tonight we are trying to get some hip hop topics completed and done. All right, now we do have some more updates on the Trump stuff, and we will get to that, but we're trying to get some hip hop topics out of the way. Okay? Now, we've seen, obviously, the Donald Trump shooting is a huge thing. There's been tons of reactions. 50 Cent, his song is now pretty much trending because of it. Been also known as Many Men. And what picture is this? What the fuck? It's like, kind of scaring me, right? Anyway, yeah, but there's tons of other stuff that we did not get to discuss. And let me load up chat. I have to get to the bullshit early.
After midnight.
Eminem's album is out, and basically it's on pace to sell about 300,000. Again, we didn't play any music from it yet, but we didn't even get to cover some of the people he was dissing because the Trump thing happened. Hopefully, we'll get to it today. All right, yeah, YouTube is extremely mad at me. They're like, "Yo, nigga, you 7 hours late. Fuck you, nigga." Somebody said, "Act late." Why am I not surprised? You should be surprised, motherfucker. Okay, let me give y'all some topics that I have, and then y'all throw some topics in the mix, and let's kind of work this out like that. All right. Let me see. Where's my other topics? Look at your damn self. 50 Cent, Eminem stuff. I guess Eminem was dissing Diddy. He mentioned Tupac and Biggie. He said Diddy blew up Kid Cudi car, and he talked about a couple other things, including even dissing MGK, and even mentioned Candace Owens. Lil Wayne, maybe we start with that. Wayne kind of like singing a song that people were wondering if he is not on good terms with Drake. We could probably get into that. The J Prince versus Cameron and Mace. I think that's an interesting one. Kanye said he's retiring. Wiz Khalifa got arrested in Romania for weed. Kodak responded to Plies.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Wiz Khalifa was in jail. He got caught smoking weed in Romania. Bro, y'all gotta stop going to Europe with blunts, bro. They don't understand that weed is not a big thing anymore.
You know, Plies is basically saying this is a fake shooting. Amanda Seals basically now doubling down, saying she knows this shit is fake. And Nori's also saying that he wants Drake and Kendrick to be cool. But actually, let's start with the most important one. I think what we should talk about first and foremost is it.
Hey, back in the
For all y'all YSL fans, y'all might have a chance. You know, again, I told y'all I don't have no problem with talking to Thug like that when he was on the streets, nigga.
Look at me.
No.
My little boy got a fan over there.
Which one? All of them? Oh, he sounds great.
Go ahead. Let me smell your feet.
Oh, nah, that's wild.
You should have been left.
You doing too much.
Yeah.
I'm left.
See, you moving on to the next round.
No, she can stay.
She can stay.
My nephew said she can stay.
She can stay. Okay, cool.
Hello.
Why you look scared?
I'm nervous.
What you nervous about?
I don't know.
They ain't tell you who you finna stand in front of?
Yeah, I know who you are. How you doing? You like shouldering your shoulders? You like shucking your shoulders?
Let me see your toe.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. This nigga about to run up the meanest bag. I think if, and I ain't trying to throw my mans under the bus or like outprice him, but Woody, if you got a manager or something, Vlad will give you 15 bands. That's a fact. You definitely get 15 bands. You hop on there, but you gotta get on there within the next couple months. You feel me? Adam will throw you 10 bands too. I can't throw you a motherfucking thing. Okay? You can come over here and tell me how you snitched on Thug, but I'm throwing you $0, okay? I would interview you though. I'll interview you, but I'm not paying you. Adam will give you 10 bands, and Vlad will give you at least 15. Ask for 20, okay? I'm telling you, snitching. Yo, this is what I'm trying to tell people. Snitching pays.
They already told you if it happened.
You want me to take off my shoes?
Next.
Damn.
You gonna show them or you gonna go?
Damn.
Show
Damn.
them. You had to ask me that?
Yo, anytime girls into polygamy, is always one cute girl and then one ugly chick, bro. Like, come on. Like, she cute. The other one is like, come on, bro. Why can't it be two bad bitches?
I mean, shit. I just want to ask your views on it. Like, how do you feel about that? That's what you like?
I love it.
Oh, okay.
He don't like it, he love it.
I know that, right? Okay, we gonna stay.
Gonna stay? Hey, so hold on. Yeah, in the first round, you said you found you ain't need to see nobody else, but you like that, so
Two always better than one.
you is right. You is right. So that
You in, so I didn't.
How good the head is.
Oh, this head is extreme.
Like, she got like a nub? Like, what happened to her hand?
I can do this.
What is that?
Oh, you can see. You want to see me tonight?
Nope.
Why not? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna get magical. Oh. Yeah.
You scared me. Why did I keep you again?
Because you love me, you just don't know it yet. Give me a handshake and I keep you. I like it. I fuck with it. Hey, Woody, I'm back.
I see. That's who she remind me of.
I call it chicken.
Women really don't need two hands. When you really think about it, one is good enough.
Dumplings.
I don't even
Now, I'm not just playing through this whole thing. There's one scene that like actually went a little viral. I'm trying to find that scene. I ain't gonna lie.
know why I asked you that, because I don't know what nothing at the end.
All right, so at the end of the
How tall is YSL Woody? He looks short.
month, you probably a Leo.
I think they were on mail too.
Yep. Okay, that's cool. What's the craziest thing a girl ever did to you? Oh shit.
I'm trying to tell you. What the girl did to me?
Mm-hmm.
But it might not be crazy, y'all. What's the crazy thing nigga did to you?
Niggas don't do crazy shit to me that much. I mean, I had a girl
let
do
me
something
spit in your
crazy.
mouth?
That's not crazy. That's freaky. Yeah, I like freaky shit.
That ain't it, ain't. I don't like freaky shit. Like I just like spitting girl mouth.
Yeah, you could
So
do
when
that.
when you go back home to your nigga, and
Oh,
he
you
kiss
think you about to spit in my mouth right now?
Nah, I ain't finna spit in
Oh.
my mouth right now.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Nah, she was down.
so you like girls with boyfriends? You said
Yeah, nah, I like girls that be talking to my partner and them.
Mm-hmm.
So when my partner be talking this shit, I just spit in their whole mouth, and then tell her to go home and kiss him.
then that way the next day you be like, I spit in your bitch mouth.
Nah, I don't even say nothing. I just be laughing to myself like.
Oh, that's you crazy. You crazy. You crazy.
No. And we thought Woody was a smart nigga. Man, this guy's retarded. Mentally handicapped fucking guy.
I'ma
But you
keep
down with it though, right?
I like that. I
For
like
sure.
that.
For sure.
It'll always be the crazy ones getting all the hoes, y'all. Psych.
Okay,
Street niggas getting all the hoes, man.
I just got 2 little small questions. What you do for fun on your day-to-day basis?
For fun, I go to jail.
That's cool too. That right too.
That's cool.
You say that's for fun. Whatever makes you happy. If
You
it's
think
fun.
that make me happy going to jail? You ask me what I do on a day-to-day
Well,
basis.
why? Okay.
Get out of here.
That's because you a snitch. That's why you said that. You be
I be
snitching.
it.
You need to stop
But get
playing
up out
by
of here.
yourself too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You be safe out there. Don't get hit by the mother, boy.
Had to pack.
Hey, shout out to my man Woody, man. I keep telling y'all, chat, snitching is in right now, gang.
Bro, I'm not gonna be
snitching
listening
is.
to that. We get it,
The
bro.
prosecutor was
Yeah, I know snitching.
mentioning that. Well, the prosecutor was saying that you could be held in contempt, which means we could jail you if you don't testify against Young Thug, and also your other issues might get fucked up if you get held in contempt. You get what I'm saying? And that was supposedly the nature of the ex parte meeting, except like Lil Woody said allegedly some stupid shit like, why would I testify or blame somebody for a crime that I know I did? And there was this whole thing supposedly that he admitted to a murder. We haven't really seen proof of that. But regardless, Brian Steele came into court, which is Young Thug's lawyer, and said, yo, if y'all had a secret meeting, from what we heard, y'all were pressuring that man to testify. Again, if he don't want to testify, you could jail him, but you shouldn't be able to pressure him to get on the stand that you could carry on with the case. And essentially, that's one of the things that they wanted a mistrial on. The judge basically said no to the mistrial, threatened to lock this guy up. They appealed and submission motions to recuse the judge. Glanville actually sent the motion up to another judge, and finally, this is where we are with this. Okay, it says,
What's going on, Chuck?
Defendant Diamante Kendrick's motion to recuse Chief Glanville is granted.
Beer
Caleb
pack sliding. Shout out with the follow. I see you.
Lawyer, or one of them, motion to squash the show cause order and recuse Judge Glanville is denied. That's moot. Basically saying Judge Glanville has already been recused based on this motion, so no need to rule on this motion because it's already satisfied. So defendant Jeffrey Williams, which is Young Thug, motion to disqualify / recuse Glanville from all further dealings in the above referenced case as amended and supplemented is granted. So this judge will pretty much never be seen back in court with Thug.
Yeah.
Okay? It says the clerk of the court shall reassign this case using the court's case assignment procedure. And basically what that meant is that the original judge is no longer in the case. Now, before, I don't want to get too much into the woods with this. And again, I got a video for me to play that's going to explain it to you. Now, remember some of the grim or dark, predictions I had about this whole case. It's definitely lightened with this. Like, for example, remember I said they keep filing for a mistrial, but when they're filing for a mistrial, if you feel the judge is corrupt, the judge is the one ruling on the mistrial. So you're not going to get anywhere. Here's the thing. That judge is off. the next time they file for a mistrial, this new judge is going to take into it. And by the way, they don't have any skin in the game. One of the reasons I felt that Glanville never really said anything is because he had too much skin in the game because he'd been working this case for 2 years. He's been the judge for 2 years, so he's a little bit irritable. He's a bit this, he's a bit that. So again, with the new judge, you got no skin in the game. There's no ego to be hurt. When they bring up motions, which I imagine they would, to dismiss the case or for a mistrial, he might consider it and actually grant it. Okay. All right. Let me play.
That's a possibility.
This.
Maya knows how quality care can bring out a...
Again, I'm sorry for all that.
He definitely was biased.
Go back to Law and Crime. This just in for Young Thug racketeering case. We have got a decision by a judge outside of that of Judge Glanville that he is now recused. I have literally just gone over the motion now, and I'm going to go over it with you myself bit by bit. Starting first with the finding of facts. We all know what the facts were. There was an ex parte, meaning one of the parties, that being all of the defense attorneys, were not present for this meeting with Kenneth Copeland. Judge Glanville, along with the prosecution and Kenneth Copeland's attorney, had this in-chambers meeting talking about him pleading the fifth for about 4 pages. So about four or so pages, just the facts as we remember them. This meeting happened. Glanville went back and forth deciding, is this person going to testify? You cannot plead the fifth. The prosecution, as we saw the transcripts that were later released, kept pressing. You've got immunity. You cannot be prosecuted for this in any way, shape, or form. And that means you have to testify. Ultimately, that meeting was not expressed in detail to the defense until Brian Steele, the defense attorney for Young Thug, raised this issue. Following that, multiple defense attorneys filed motions for recusal was timely and supported by an affidavit of his own factual allegations mandating his recusal. What that basically means in English, he played both witness, judge,
and jury. Yeah, that was pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. If the state doesn't give all these boys plea deals, they're idiots, because they're gonna lose this case. They better start giving these boys plea deals, man, and call it a day. Give that man Young Thug time served, 3 more years to serve, and call it a day, bro. Is this nigga mute? He muted himself again? How many times he gonna do that? I'm talking, I mute myself all the time too.
Of his own allegations. A judge cannot do that. That's what the Honorable Judge Rachel Krause, who was given this case to decide the recusal, ultimately decides. They continue by saying that this court has no doubt that Judge Glanville can and would continue presiding fairly over this matter if the recusal motions were denied, but, and going on to quote here, the necessity of preserving the public's confidence in the judicial system weighs in favor of excusing Judge Glanville from further handling of this case. And this is the decision. Based on the foregoing, this court hereby orders the following. 1, Defendant DeMonte Kendrick's motion for recusal Chief Judge Urville is granted. 2, Caleb Bumpus' motion to quash the show cause order or for the recusal of Judge Glanville is denied as moot meaning that it's no longer an issue, and that the defendant Jeffrey Williams' motion to disqualify or recuse Judge Glanville for all further dealings in the above referenced case as amended and supplemented is granted. The court clerk shall.
She's the one? This nigga keeps muting and fucking self. Idiot.
To clear his name, he sought a speedy trial, one in which he would receive the constitutional guarantees of a fair trial with an impartial judge, presiding and ethical prosecutors following the law. Sadly, Judge Glanville and the prosecutors have run afoul with their duties under the law. Mr. Williams is grateful that the reviewing court agreed with him and entered the order recusing and disqualifying Judge Glanville from presiding over Mr. Williams' case. We look forward to proceeding with a trial judge who will fairly and faithfully follow the law. Wait, why is the sound off on this? Sorry, sir. Oh, boy. Oh.
Had a muddy rattle.
No. The
4. That is today. What that basically means is Judge Glanville is no longer the judge in the Young Thug RICO case for any of the defendants. It will go back to the court clerks to reassign this case. This is the break.
Okay, once again, it's already been reassigned. It's reassigned to this woman. Now, I think that there is a lot of hope for Young Thug and his attorneys to raise causes of mistrial. And I think this judge, again, because their ego isn't involved, this is not necessarily their case they started out with, because it's kind of very difficult to ask a judge to recuse himself, because that's like almost admitting that you acknowledge that you've been fucking up and you're unfit to like be the neutral arbiter of this type of situation, which who would want to admit that about themselves? So we get into like a situation like this, okay?
Breaking news coming out of the Young Thug case in Georgia. All right.
Okay.
All right. So now that you have that breaking.
All right, bet. Cool. Other news that kind of happened, and I don't know why I feel like tired. Is it because of liquor? What the fuck?
Free Young Thug.
I think it's because I woke up early in Pluto. Breaking news that kind of came down, which is a little odd, So, Lil Boosie had got out on social media, and he was just like, yo, if anybody know Lil Reese or his people, yo, he's getting locked up. He said this.
Hey, I'm at the hotel downtown. They just took Lil Reese to jail. He came out handcuffed. They had all his bags. So if anybody, Lil Reese people, y'all need to check on him. They just took him to jail. Some dude came down, some woman lied on him or some shit. So any Lil Reese people, the Grim Reaper people, they just took him to jail downtown LA and put him in a coffin. Y'all need to tap in with y'all people.
Well, I guess he's raising awareness. Okay. Now, here's the thing. So we get to find out that Lil Reese was arrested
I don't care about this story. Let's skip. This is why I start from the beginning, chat.
Here we go. We've
the
only
stories
seen.
I don't want to care about. Skip. It's just the stupid story. Skip. Ooh, Trump story. Perfect.
Release footage of. By the way, Trump announced his new VP. It's apparently, what's his name? His new VP is JD Vance.
The Bitcoin
Don't know
guy.
too much about him, but who cares about the VP? Because Uncle Trump definitely finna win. Now, the guy who tried to kill Trump, supposedly there's like videos of him that have surfaced, and it says, hey, according to TMZ, this video is captured a couple years ago of Matthew Crooks while he was in high school. Basically, it showed him kind of being bullied. You know what I'm saying? So this is a guy who shot at Trump. Is it audio? Is it audio or I'm tripping?
What is up with white people love bullying people?
Let me find the full clip on
It's true, fam.
Twitter.
I don't know what it is. They always bullying some poor white kid.
Here we go.
Stop. Ladies.
So apparently, people were fucking with him. And by the way, this doesn't excuse whatever he did, but like, I guess to give some context to like maybe what type of dude this was.
Stop. Ladies.
Yeah. Apparently there were like other videos as well. Like there was some other videos where like he was. By the way, this was.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Just smiling the whole time.
You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. So much.
Was in high school?
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance. He was bullied almost.
So apparently this was a bullied guy.
I don't know. I hope this is enough to cause some type of change. I mean, if this was a cause of what happened in high school, there definitely has to be a change.
Now, apparently the guy, Matthew Crooks, apparently he was 20 years old, right? He was 20 years old of Bethel Park. By the way, there's some new images or new videos that kind of like have arisen that showcase the dude, like, you know, onlookers, shooter, Trump. Like, people saw him like crawl into position and they were like shouting it out. Mad people were shouting it out, like, yo, check this, like, look.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful place with the gorgeous ocean.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic.
So this is somebody recording, and they're saying people are pointing. They're pointing at the would-be shooter.
The Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And son, I'm here with you fighting cartel to get a sentence.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look. There he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
You hear people shouting. He's on the roof.
I'm standing there pointing at.
So I guess, by the way, someone had said like he also had a weapon, which I seen another bizarre story that like supposedly a local cop tried to approach him and he pointed like, I guess, his rifle at the local cop and the local cop just went away. Now I keep hearing people who you know, have been like going with their conspiracy theories, basically saying, and by the way, hold on, let me play this about the shooter.
Oh no, the like I tell y'all, the conspiracy theories are back. And they believe it.
They've been saying.
What have you learned about the gunman here in these past moments?
Well, Aaron, I'll start with the newest information that we just received from a briefing that the FBI conducted in the past hour.
They were saying even Trump faked it.
The 20-year-old suspect who is accused
shooting himself in the air, but I don't know.
President Donald Trump. According to the FBI, we now know that they believe that he acted alone, and the FBI also believes that there's no indication of mental health issues with Mr. Crooks. We also have learned in the past hour that part of this investigation is the FBI has actually gotten access to Thomas Crooks's phone, but at this point they don't have access to the information inside the phone, and they have shipped it to Quantico.
I was thinking about this, Chad. Even though he didn't kill Donald Trump, his name is still going to go down in the history books. The kid who almost killed Donald Trump, Matthew Crooks. Crazy.
The FBI headquarters to try and figure out how to get
I really believe it. Even though he didn't kill Donald Trump, he's still going to be in the history books.
Inside. And the
guy who almost killed Donald Trump. So his job, he did what he was, sad to say, he accomplished what he meant to do.
Other thing, Aaron.
But he didn't kill Trump, but he still accomplished what he meant to do. He's going down in the history books.
That perhaps
the guy who killed Trump is going to say Matthew Crooks.
But the FBI said it on this briefing, is that they have not at this point identified any sort of ideology that would give clues to, again, the big question that everyone has: what caused this man to go to this Trump event and open fire at the former president?
Now, there's also rumors that this guy supposedly donated to Biden, but he was a registered Republican.
Yeah, that was weird too. This is why people are like, people don't know what to think. People saying it's, I don't know.
Let's see if we can figure it out.
Oh, Alex Jones talked about it. Should we go see about that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a convoluted story. They're saying that he donated to a Democrat, but he was a registered Republican. I have no idea.
You know, Alex Jones is crazy, but I still like listening to it. It's crazy.
And ultimately injuring him, killing one, and injuring 2 other rallygoers in the crowd. Now, I do want to just go over some of the things that we do know. In addition to some of this information, Aaron, we also learned in the past hour or so that Mr. Crooks was a dietary aide at the Bethel Park Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. It's like a nursing home that's very close to where we are, not too far from his home, about 5 minutes away.
Nurses usually don't kill people. That's shocking, too.
Confirmed that he was an employee, confirmed that he was a dietary aide, said that they were shocked and saddened by this news of the shooting overnight, but also noted that Crooks performed his job without concern and did pass background checks prior to getting this particular job. Now, the last thing, Aaron, that I'll mention is just a few of the things that we have been reporting, as you said, all throughout the day. We know that Mr. Crooks was a registered Republican. We also know that he donated a small amount of money to a Democratic-aligned group back in 2021. And we also know that he was in possession of an AR-style rifle, which law enforcement sources tell us was actually not just obtained legally, but also traced back to Mr. Crooks's father. And that's actually how law enforcement was able to identify their suspect in the first place, because Thomas Crooks was not found with any ID after the U.S. Secret Service agents neutralized him yesterday. But again, Aaron, the big question...
That's weird,
Crooks.
too.
I think I was calling Matthew Crooks.
Question that we still do not have an answer to.
Too.
What led him to go to that Trump campaign event?
These guys usually leave a manifesto. Why the hell he doesn't have one?
Democrat or like maybe he was planning this for a while. Anyway,
20-year-old without an internet presence. Since when did you hear about that? I've never heard of that.
There's a bunch of videos floating around. Let me see what I can find.
Okay. Not saying that means anything, but it definitely raises your eyebrow a little bit. Got
There's
your
a
eyebrow
bunch of
twitching.
videos that are like floating around. Like, oh my god.
See my eyebrow twitching?
Essentially, kind of showing like
twitch.
There's one with like a woman where she's like doing some interesting shit. Shit, goddamn. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find that video. There's been so many tweets about all this stuff. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find this.
I mean, you obviously wasn't bullied that much. He didn't shoot up the school.
Oh, by the way,
and he graduated.
Here's some other
so
information that's kind of crazy.
At him?
They said that the building the nigga crawled up on, there was cops inside the building.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. No way.
No way.
No hell. No freaking
Ain't no
way.
fucking way.
Ain't no way. That's no way. That would be the most idiotic shit ever.
I'm so sorry, Chad.
The nigga refused.
The news tonight, there are fast-moving developments after the assassination attempt. Tonight, remarkable new images here. The alleged gunman seen climbing to the roof just minutes before opening fire at that rally. You can actually hear people in the crowd yelling to an officer, pointing him out. And now we learn that law enforcement was actually using that building as a staging area, and how the gunman climbed onto the roof, the wall outside that building. And ABC's Pierre Thomas tonight with the exclusive interview with the head of the Secret Service and what she's saying now.
Stunning new video tonight showing the moment Donald Trump's would-be assassin climbed onto the roof of that building just 2 minutes before he opened fire.
Yeah, look, there he is.
You can hear bystanders desperately trying to alert police. Authorities now using that video as part of the investigation. And tonight, ABC News has learned that heavily armed local police were stationed inside that building and missed Thomas Crooks climbing up the outside of the building to the roof. The same building was being used as a staging area for local police, according to 2 law enforcement officials. And Butler Township officials are confirming ABC News' reporting that a local police officer climbed up the roof and confronted Brooks moments before the shooting.
The officer grabbed hold of the edge of the building, pulled himself up to be able to look, and according to what he's told me, shooter turned, rifle was pointed at the officer. The officer, defensive move, kind of ducked, fell, lost his grip on the building.
Investigators tonight trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Take a look at what happened.
Washington lawmakers demanding answers, calling on the Secret Service director to appear before Congress. We sat down with Director Kim Cheadle today for an exclusive interview.
What was your shooter? If the shooter didn't have glasses, thank God he had glasses. That nigga can't see for shit.
Reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock. Now, there's a side-by-side thing of supposedly how long they had to stop the shooter. Sorry.
Look, they're all pointing.
The Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator
What's happening?
and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it 30
Yeah, look.
seconds.
There he is.
Easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than if it happened. We have the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we're the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. Do you guys have access to that chart that I love so much? You don't mind if I go off teleprompter,
So
do
the
you?
shooter is on the roof of this place.
Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain that. Oh, there's a, wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then
2 whole minutes.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit over that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that says...
Now, it appears that this is a whole 20 minutes. Or not 20 minutes, 2 minutes actually. Now, here's the thing, and again, I don't know all the facts, whatever the case is, but I do see people making very amateur points. You're a sniper at, people are like, yo, why sniper and shoot quick enough? This and yo, you're a sniper at a presidential event. By the way, I'm pretty sure that this isn't a Secret Service sniper. This is probably a sniper that probably works somewhere in that county, that is just on the Secret Service detail as a counter sniper for the Secret Service. So he's not like he works with the president all the time or works with Donald Trump all the time. I have to imagine, number one, they probably have all earpieces. Someone is telling them, yo, there is somebody who's on that roof over there. They're unidentified. We're trying to figure out if it's one of us or somebody else. point your rifles over there, but don't shoot yet. I would imagine they have to get some type of like confirmation that they could pull the trigger and kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like you don't see these rallies go down and a sniper just shoot somebody randomly. Like that would be chaos in this country. So I think
that's true.
These snipers are waiting for some type of confirmation, which probably took a few seconds. Now, granted, it only took 1 second for them to pull the trigger and that one of those bullets hit Trump. But when you think about it along those lines, you kind of get some of the goofy thoughts of why people are saying this is fake out of your mind. Like, no, people died. It's not fake.
Hell no, that shit wasn't fake. Now, was it staged? I don't know. That kid sure got onto that building full of policemen very easily. Like I said, I don't think they put him there, but it definitely seemed like they got out of his way, almost like they knew he was coming. They seen him on the TV. They was watching him for 2 whole days, and then they still just let him climb the building unimpeded. Weird. That's just a weird story. Somebody's getting fired.
Like, just respectfully, just think about it. You're a sniper. Once you fire off a sniper shot, I don't know if y'all ever heard a sniper rifle get fired. And even if it did have some type of, suppressor or it got to be one of the most closest contacts. Trump shooting. Where am I tripping? Yeah, this guy is this guy. That's my other computer. Make the argument that even though people died, this was staged by Trump. Anyway, listen to this person.
So with the release of this video,
He was doing the job I wouldn't even be doing.
Trump staged his own shooting himself in the ear.
This I can get some beautiful places, the gorgeous ocean, the
Look, they're all pointing.
the Atlantic, maybe the Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down, see him?
Yeah, he's laying down.
And Scott, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a Senate.
What's happening?
And to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look.
And it's
There he
not
is.
easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people, criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
You went too hard on the roof, big guy.
I think it's very fair for many people to say that this was yet another example of a politician, which this has been done in other places. Bolsonaro did the same thing in Brazil, a politician creating a scenario where it looks like their life is being put in jeopardy to make them look like a martyr, to make it seem like they are so strong that they are being persecuted, and that's why you need to follow them.
He killed 2 innocent people just so he can look like, are you guys an idiot? Why? No one would do that.
And unfortunately, innocent people were harmed and someone even died in the process of this. Now remember, Donald Trump was also an integral part of January 6th.
Yeah, this is the type of idiot that would try to make the ridiculous case.
I don't even want to listen to that. She's an idiot.
Oh, nah. Trump wanted to get shot in his ear. He just didn't want to get shot.
Mm-hmm.
So he put a guy 400 meters away to shoot him in his ear.
Yeah, that's a stupid. That's stupid.
What we're watching.
Anyway,
but
there's a time that happens.
Did Secret Service let that guy get on that building to take a shot at the? I don't know. That could be the case.
We're like mottos.
I'm sorry to tell y'all, it's not. It doesn't look as random as it did when we first started. Now, does it?
He starts mouthing off.
That shit does not sound random to me.
They don't like us. He said they don't.
We knew about him 2 days ago. So you just stop watching him? And you let him climb the building across from the... Yeah, this shit sound fishy as fuck.
Like us. And he's kind of like bigging up Drake, except a lot of people thought he was dissing Drake. This is what happened.
Let me stop. What should we do? Should we stay with academics or should we go with Hassan?
I think it's at the beginning of the clip. So he grabs his OVO out chain, which is a pendant gifted to him by Drake, and he starts saying they don't like us. Okay, so basically, you know, like, people got to get a grip here. Wayne has made tens of millions of dollars from Drake's career. I know y'all think Kendrick the Messiah, but nobody gives a fuck. Okay, if you think Wayne's gonna turn on Drake, like, whether he's right or wrong, and in this situation, he's definitely wrong with him. But like, if you ever think that a guy who basically has made tens of millions of dollars with somebody is just gonna be like, oh no, your op is right, I fuck with your op more. Why? So this is actually a crazy thing for you to even think that Wayne would be jacking anything that has to do with Kendrick Lamar or be taking his side at all. All right. I think there's another. These are more pictures that shoot or whatever. Okay.
We'll get to that.
I have no fucking idea why I'm so fucking tired. I should have streamed earlier. By the way, Lil Reese has put out a statement. He said, on my sister Riri, the whole story's cap and made up. Fuck, I look like this and ain't no better. The same way y'all posting that shit. Make sure y'all post the case when it gets thrown out with the court day, blah, blah. I'm wondering what the fuck they must have seen that they're like, we have to put this nigga in cuffs now. The woman must have been beat up or some shit, like, type crazy. Like, why would they just immediately put him in? They probably investigated for an hour to an hour and a half. Like, why they immediately just put him in cuffs and arrest him? Anyway.
Don't worry, chat. We're gonna be listening to new music tomorrow morning. Did I pause on accident? I think I did. Oh, this nigga.
By the way, Lil Reese has put out a statement. He said, on my sister Riri, the whole story's cap and made up. Fuck, I look like this and ain't no better. The same way y'all posting that shit. Make sure y'all post the case when it gets thrown out with the court day, blah, blah. I'm wondering what the fuck they must have seen that they're like, we have to put this nigga in cuffs now. The woman must have been beat up or some shit, like, type crazy. Like, why would they just immediately put him in? They probably investigated for an hour to an hour and a half. Like, why they immediately just put him in cuffs and arrest him?
Something's going on with Axe thing. He fucking got kicked out. So, I guess we'll find some Hassan news. Nah, it's not live. Someone said, go get a... That's hilarious. All right. I guess we'll have to find something else.
JD Vance is the pick, by the way.
Axe stream is completely down.
But you would have known that if you've been watching me for months, because I've been telling you that
he's probably ain't going to come back till tomorrow.
it's going to be JD Vance, even though he is a bad pick for VP.
Don't worry,
by the way,
y'all.
I'm not
Tonight
even
we're gonna
joking.
Listen to me. Actually, maybe not tonight. We're gonna listen. Tonight we're gonna play some games, but tomorrow we're gonna definitely be listening to music all day, straight. We've been messing up when it comes to listening to new music, and I want to get back to it. Okay. All right, Ak. Y'all let me know if Ak comes back on. I'll come check him out, but it doesn't seem like he's coming back. Yeah, he's not coming back.
When I say I think Nikki Haley would have been.
When that nigga said he's tired, I knew he ain't coming back. I'll try one more thing. Actually, forget it. He ain't coming back. Let's go to Yeah, he ain't coming back. Let's go to Hassan.
The best possible pick for Donald Trump. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me on this. She is a psycho, but I think Nikki Haley would have been literally the best possible pick. Centrist, moderate appeal, a woman, one of the only people in the Republican Party who was like regularly talking about abortion being like banned at the federal level, being like a genuinely bad idea. She unironically would have been the best possible pick for Donald Trump. I stand on that. He went with JD Vance.
Well, if he's
instead.
already got it in the bag after getting shot in the ear, I feel like you can do whatever you want.
Well, no, he can't do whatever he wants. He still understands. That's why he's doing this unity call now, too. He knows that his chances, regardless of being shot in the ear, are still not exactly great. So, damn, Fox News cooking JD Vance. Yeah, past comments on Trump. Might be America's Hitler. Might be a cynical cultural heroine. Noxious and reprehensible.
Amazing.
These are all the wonderful things that JD Vance said back when it was hot to say anti-Trump things. JD Vance is, I love JD Vance. He's great. He's the worst. He's not one of the worst, but he is like a pretty bad pick. Like he's up there with like Vivek Ramaswamy. For ironically identical reasons, just aside from Vivek being Indian and openly Indian, unlike Nikki Haley, and having a last name like Ramaswamy, which would appear next to Trump, which is completely unacceptable for like all of the biggest evangelical sickos who think he is a demon sent from hell because he's Indian. Isn't his wife Indian? Yeah, that don't matter. That's too many. I don't even know if JD Vance's wife is Indian, but it doesn't matter. Like JD Vance himself is white. Why is Fox going after him? I think this is old. Oh, Trump ticket contenders for vice presidential pick.
Oh my God.
This is before he was picked. They were talking about his weaknesses probably. I have no idea he was so ugly. There's no shot they're winning. No, he's like plump.
Also, everyone else is 80. So like,
yeah, he looks
even if
young.
you're an ugly young guy, you're still good looking.
Yeah, here it is. Here's JD Vance. Like this is gonna play so much against Donald Trump. All of the things that he has said about Donald Trump over and over again are going to be played by not only mainstream media but myself as well. I'll be doing this because I think it's really funny that Donald Trump went with JD Vance, which is like the coward pick in my opinion. The real brave move would have been Doug Burgum. Burgomaniacs. We had to read Hillbilly Elegy and Sociology in high school. Weird my lib teachers and family loved this book and gifted it to everyone they know for Christmas. Yes, because the reason why they love it is because JD Vance was like super libbed up. JD Vance, if you watched Hillbilly Elegy, if you read Hillbilly Elegy, and I certainly did not. I did not watch, nor did I read, okay? One, because I don't read, but even if I were to read, I would not be reading that bullshit. But I did see the Cliff Notes. And let me tell you, from all I saw in the Cliff Notes, it was a man who was desperate to escape his working class background, a man with like genuine disgust for the working class whites in the Appalachian area who like legitimately hates them, despises them, and thinks of them as heroin addicted freaks. Okay, literally just so much old school Republican Party style elitist discontent for these people. And no, don't say not wrong. Come on, chatters. Jesus Christ, don't do this liberal elitist bullshit. All right, those are victims. It doesn't matter if they're hogs sometimes or all the time. They're still victims nonetheless. All right. And if you're from that area, you definitely shouldn't have this level of discontent because you know them as like human beings. You know them as your mother. You know them as your father. You know them as your family members. And isn't he from there? So it's basically just kind of dumb shame he has. Yes. He literally personally looked at the capitalist exploitation of the Appalachian and individualized it as a moral failing and spent his entire life going to Yale, going to Harvard, all this and like presenting himself as like the white working class whisperer who despises them. Okay, who despises the white working class and sees them as like reactionary, drug-addled freaks. I'm gonna have Edinger Mentum on right now. He is going to be talking about JD Vance. He's written extensively on JD Vance. Among all of the other VP picks, he considers JD Vance to be a F tier pick for Donald Trump. I agree with him. We will talk about why he considers JD Vance to be an F tier pick as soon as I get him on the line. He's dialing in from vacation. What's up, dude?
Yeah, so Trump shows JD Vance. JD Vance got a weird case. He's going Drake mode. Trump has gone Drake mode.
Okay, talk to us. So you wrote, let me see if I can pull up your article right now. You wrote about JD Vance extensively, as you wrote about all of the other potential VP picks. You and I were in agreement, even during the debate, that it was most likely going to be JD Vance as his VP pick. But you think this is a bad idea. Why? Let's talk about
awful. Yeah, well, this guy is 39 years old. He's been in the Senate for like a year. So this is like the most unqualified, like on paper, candidate since Dan Quayle. Like even Dan Quayle was at least a second-term senator, I think. Given like Trump's very like obvious brushes with mortality, like he is like a very clear.
At
like
least he's
this is
young.
like a legitimate
Jesus.
consideration people have to make.
These
It's
are
not even like with HW where he was like 60 or whatever, and it was kind of like a secondary consideration. Vance has won in one election. He won the primary off of Trump's endorsement after like spending his like whole career talking about how Trump was terrible until he decided that he liked him. That race in 2022 was a near catastrophe for Republicans in Ohio, which this is a state Trump won by 8 points. It was a Republican midterm, 8% inflation, Biden like 40% approval. Vance trailed the Democrat in that race for almost the entire summer and fall. He was losing like by large margins for much of the race. They had to spend tens of millions of dollars to bail him out. It might have cost them the Senate because they had to spend so much money there.
They had to roll out Trump too, right? I mean, they literally had to bring him out there to be like, this is my
coal mining.
Hell yeah, Christy.
That one
here it
really
is,
real.
JD Vance from Ohio.
I got a master's degree talking about how like.
What did
Dude, Trump
say?
Yeah, man, insane.
Where were you when Trump got shot, man?
I'm not going to tell you. That's if the government's listening, just in case. I don't want anybody to hear. Where was I? I was at the house. I was at the house.
Alex, this is an Alex joke.
I
can't help it.
Okay, so I know about the stuff. So
listening to him,
the West had to stay behind that.
Of course, you gotta take everything he says with a grain of salt, but he's entertaining, my boy, and sometimes his ass be right. I mean, there are a lot of times he be wrong, but he be right sometimes.
Kill him, and when they kill him or try to kill him, all hell's going to break loose. So I want to be. Local police work for them and want to work for Trump. So they were told by the advance team, this has come out, not to be on the roofs of 4 buildings 450 feet away that a Boy Scout, a 10-year-old could make that shot, okay? So there was a default stand down, just like in 63 in Dallas. And Kennedy said, I'm pulling out 100,000 troops a month. In 4 months, the 400,000 troops that were in Vietnam were going to be gone. Trump said, I'm going to end this war. I'm going to cut off funding the Ukraine war. And so Biden's completely collapsed. And then they don't put anybody on the roof, which, again, is the number one place you go and the number one place. I mean, if out to a half mile, if there's water towers where a president or a top candidate speaking, they go and put people on the water tower because that's a place to take a shot. 450 feet away, literally a 10-year-old can hit bullseye at 450 feet, okay? I've shot mountain goats at 1,200 yards, but most people can't shoot like that. But we're talking 450 feet, but the round that the guy fired was so lightweight, a little bit of wind can blow it. Cold bore, it can always shoot a little bit to the left. But the point is it was 1/2 inch away from hitting Trump right in the temple and killing him, shot right through his ear right here. And so that's one issue. This was not a mistake. This was not a screw up. This was premeditated. But yes, I've been on air
Once again, chat, this is Alex Jones. Take what he's saying with a grain of salt. Do your own research. But he do be right sometimes, so it's only right that we at least listen.
Parrot saying they're going to kill Trump or try to kill him, and when they kill him or try to kill him, all hell's going to break loose. So I want to be 100% clear. Now the deep state set this up, brought in the shooter, protected him, put him up there. That's all 100% fact. Don't be naive. People debate that stuff all day. The default is put people on rooftops within a half mile. This is 450 feet away. This is preposterous. This was the default set position. This is like putting salt water in your gas tank or not putting gas in your car. You have a newborn baby, you throw it in the pool. It's not a mistake. It's done on purpose. The low-level Secret Service, it's not their fault. They followed orders. No one is on 4 rooftops 450 feet away.
Who is giving that order? Who is telling them don't be on the rooftops, do you think? If you had to guess.
We know that,
right.
We know.
Okay.
That is the senior advanced team of the Secret Service.
And that is that there's a name.
So the senior
this woman, I forget her name.
That is not her. She was not the one in charge. She wasn't there. But she's the one in charge of the whole Secret Service system.
She's testifying. The Republicans have just called her to testify in front of Congress. I forget her name, but she is the head of the Secret Service. Do you know her name, Alex? I'm forgetting her name.
Let's look at her. What is it? Down.
Let's bring to the conversation Evie Pompouras. She's a former Secret Service agent. Evie, good morning. I want to put up this map of the farm grounds where this event was held last night. So the elevated position where the shooter was set up was about 150 yards from the stage where former President Trump was speaking. As a former Secret Service agent, are you surprised that building wasn't better secured?
So when you do a security plan, you've got the main security, right? The security perimeter where there's the magnetometers, where people are being checked as they're entering the event. You have the outer perimeter, where when you have an open rally like this, you are extremely vulnerable. I've done these. They're probably the most anxious you're ever going to be as an agent, because you're trying to secure all of it. Now, the adjacent buildings, you do this in urban environments, you do this in a rural environment like this. When you do a security plan, you literally put yourself on stage and then you look out as if you were the protectee.
Pop, pop, pop. And then everybody's on the ground. Everybody's on the floor.
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely.
If he had not moved his head.
Let's bring to the conversation Evie Pompouras. She's a former Secret Service agent. Evie, good morning. I want to put up this map of the farm grounds where this event was held last night. So the elevated position where the shooter was set up was about 150 yards from the stage where former President Trump was speaking. As a former Secret Service agent, are you surprised that building wasn't better secured?
So when you do a security plan.
And you know what's so fun? My instinct was like, I'm not even kidding. That's what time we're in now. I thought it was AI at first. I thought this is someone's pulling a prank on people. I was like, someone is doing a very intricate, coordinated prank, because AI is that good. They could make that up. But then I kept, then obviously it got exposed that it was real. But for a long, I'm not kidding. That's how fucked the world is, that I thought maybe that was fake, or that this was all made up.
Yeah.
It was a trip. It still might be. Still might
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We weren't there.
I wasn't there. I have no idea what's going on in Pennsylvania.
That's how so weird the media is these days. Like, if you don't know and you weren't there, if you really step back for a second, you're like, who knows what,
How could I know? How could I know that that's real? I don't know. I mean, could have not. Took the hit, though.
Oh, it was crazy, dude. Yeah.
That image. Him yelling.
Welcome back to the True Geordie YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And Donald Trump has been shot at a rally in Pennsylvania. What the hell is going on? This is the biggest news of the year. Trump was at his podium giving a speech, as he always does, and a man about 150 yards away apparently is perched up on a rooftop, fires at him multiple shots, maybe 8 to 10 shots with a rifle, and you see Donald Trump hold his ear as you can hear the pops going off, hits the deck, and the crowd are screaming, everyone's panicked. The Secret Service dives on top of him, they take the gunman out, Donald Trump gets back to his feet, and you're thinking they're just gonna run him out of there and get him out there as quick as possible. But no, this man stands and puts his hand in the air and says, fight, fight, fight. And wow, I'm not a Trump fan or whatever the hell you would be, like a supporter of the right wing or left wing for that matter. I don't do any of that shit. But my God, that was badass. That was entertaining. That was cinema. It almost makes it feel like a movie. It makes it feel like it's not real, but it was very real. When he turned to the side, blood pouring out of his ear, that was very real. And again, before anyone thinks I'm conservative just because I'm mesmerized by the bloody insanity that I've just watched, I don't care about liberals, conservatives. I've had them both in power in my country my whole life, and they've both fucked the working man. I have no faith in either side. All I will judge in this video is people like Trump and Biden for their character, for who they are. And Donald Trump in that moment showed he's a bit of a badass. The man was shot. He knew that, and he's giving it that. It's a big fuck you to whoever shot him, even though they're dead, like. You see, he holds his ear immediately. He knows. The Secret Service dived on him. They did their job in that moment, but there was a lot left to be desired when you look at the whole operation of what went down that day. Shocking from them. There we go. Donald's up. He's up. He's up. And you see he's covered in blood around the ear, across his face. By the way, the American people, I love you, right? Because anyone else in this scenario gets the fuck out of there. You lot stay and clap him as he's getting back to his feet. You do know there was a shooter there. They don't give a fuck. Yeah! That's my president. Damn right, boy. Look at that. Fist pump. Fight. Fight. I can't lie. It's very leader-like, you know? The man just took a bullet to the ear, got back up and shouted fight with his fist in the air. He didn't run like a coward, like a smart person. I mean, this man is, what, 80? He just became immortal. What the right wing have looked at him as a bit of a martyr, as a bit of a leader of free speech and all of these other things of challenging the system. Whether or not that's true, the images that we're seeing right now is going to conjure up so much emotion in his supporters. Even if Biden was a half-decent leader, which he is pathetic, let's be honest, we'll get onto that. You just won the election. And not only did you just win the election, you just became a fucking icon. And I'm not even saying he deserves all that in terms of who he is as a person, but imagery does a lot to people, and it's how they're going to feel. Even if you're super left-leaning and you don't like the guy, you don't like his policies, whatever, that's cool, don't blame you. But I think most people deep down will watch that and go, fuck me, fair enough, like, got my respect. Joe Biden can't even get up the stairs without going down. This man got up after a bullet. What is he, Bruce Willis in Die Hard? This is ridiculous. USA! USA! I even am getting it. And naturally, these people are going to feel like this is an attack on their guy, on their freedom to support whoever they want. Because it feels like Biden was doing such a horrific job in the debates, in his own speeches, that Trump was going to beat him easily. So the only way you can get rid of this guy is to get rid of him, you know? And someone may have had that thought, maybe this is bigger than that, maybe this is government level agency shit, I don't know. But I can't help feel that this is connected to the fact that Trump destroyed Joe Biden in that debate, and he didn't even have to try. Joe Biden was barely even in the room. So he has a pic of the wound, and as you can see, that's no joke. That's millimeters from a certain death. This was not a scare tactic. This was, let's blow his fucking head off. And here is a pic of the iconic photograph of Trump raising his fist in the air, bullet wound and all, and just so happens that the American flag is perfectly positioned. This is iconic. I don't care what your feelings are about America, about Trump or whatever. Just to look at this, it's an iconic image. And people are giving Trump a lot of credit for the way he took that bullet. But to be fair to Joe Biden, if that had happened to him, he wouldn't have even flinched. It's because he wouldn't have known what the fuck was happening to him. But give him the credit, the contrast between Trump and Biden was already stark in the fact that Trump can actually finish his fucking sentences. But the fact that he's now over here looking like an action hero, God knows what the campaign team for Joe Biden are feeling right now. They might as well just put their feet up. It's over. And for anyone who's saying in the comments, it's fake, it wasn't real, it was staged, we've literally got a photograph of the bullet after it has hit Trump in the ear, I think whizzing past his head. Oh, that might have been the second one. You know, this stage theory is actually really big, ironically. And I'm just wondering, like, where the logic is in it, because if you're the gunman who's signing up to be a part of this, not really sure, you're like, you know what would really sell it? If we killed you afterwards. And he's like, yeah, seems legit that would be great. I think that's the way to go. Or if you're Donald Trump and signing up for it and it's like, yeah, sure, just take a shot in my ear. I mean, what could go wrong? Do you know what I mean? It's only millimeters away from my brain. I'm just not sure that's a reliable plan. And it's funny because all of these people who were saying it was staged, it was fake, are the same people who were cancelling Alex Jones for saying the same thing about Sandy Hook. So it's like, you sound just as crazy as him now. We've got photographs of the bullets whizzing past him. He was covered in blood. Oh, blood pellets. Yeah, fake. All fake. Like WE. You sound crazy. And I know for some people, this is seen as a great night for Donald Trump, even though something terrible happened to him. It's elevated his status quite clearly. So therefore, they don't want to acknowledge that it could be possibly real because they're so wedded to their belief system that no matter what they're saying, no matter what is happening, they will find a way to ignore logic to just only have the narrative that they need to be true. And luckily, when you don't believe in any political party, none of that makes a difference to you. So I don't give a shit. This was clearly a real shooting. And if you don't get that, I don't know what to tell you, man. Now, what is very clear is that the Secret Service, FBI, all of them guys could have stopped this way before it happened. So this here is where Donald Trump was on stage, and just over here is where the gunman was positioned on the rooftop. Now, I can remember as far back as when I was a kid watching, you know, presidents and even president movies about fictional presidents. When the FBI are about to do a big press conference, they comb the area for any possible locations, positions where it could put the president in danger. The nearest rooftop not even being looked at blows my mind. Bearing in mind that Trump is a very controversial candidate, and it's not like we've not seen presidents killed before, for Christ's sakes. And this fella has given an interview after the shooting took place saying he tried to alert the authorities to the shooter before it even happened.
So we're standing there, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
That is unbelievably incompetent. Now, interestingly, Elon Musk has raised the question, extreme incompetence or was it deliberate? Either way, the Secret Service leadership must resign. And I completely agree. Like, this is staggering. You've got some random dude saying, I pointed for 3 minutes. I was telling them, not for a second, not for 10 seconds, for minutes. They had all the time in the world to put a stop to this well before it happened. There's this video also being released of one of the police snipers who, just before the shots ring out, he notices something. Maybe it was the other gunman.
I'll say it again. Obviously, somebody did not do their job. Obviously. Was it done on purpose? I don't know. But the negligence and the obvious mistakes being made here is unbelievable. And we just found out it was on top of a police building.
But he doesn't react.
I want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Absolutely fucking useless, mate. If you're Donald Trump after this and you're watching all of these clips of people saying, we tried to tell them and they did nothing, not only are you feeling let down, but you're feeling betrayed. These are the people that you put your trust in to keep you alive. That's their job. That's their only job. And they failed in a big way. Because let's be real, only by the grace of God is this man still alive today? Not for anything the FBI did, other than killing the guy afterwards. But come on, that's the bare minimum. And this video I found, it's actually even more shocking because it shows it wasn't just one guy who gave the interview noticed the guy had a gun. It was loads of people shouting it while Donald Trump is still talking.
He's going down!
They're just people in the crowd. They're not paid and trained to save their president's life. They're just regular people like me and you. How on earth can this Secret Service look themselves in the mirror after such a pile of shit job they've done that day? Fucking sacked a lot of them at this rate. The guy was on a white rooftop. He's in dark clothes. You can't miss it. And this video has attracted a lot of banter because it shows Donald Trump being rushed into the car to safety, but it also shows some of the Secret Service agents and how they're behaving. And people have noticed that a couple of the women on the team look a little bit underprepared for the situation. This woman here is trying to get her gun out. She's rich. It's somewhere. It's got to be. This guy's got his gun. Come on, get ready. We're all ready for. Can you get your? Nearly. No, you're out. You're out. You're out. Okay, just in time. Just in time. Well done. You got there eventually. Better late than never. You can see she doesn't know what she's looking around. Can I get my gun out? She's all in a kerfuffle, as we would say. And here is a picture of this woman. And look, I'm not one to body shame or anything like that. But you know, for like the Secret Service and anything sort of like Army, FBI related, you think that they have to pass like a level of fitness test or whatever. I'm not sure I'd be confident in her passing anything like that right now. She has got a little bit of a muffin top around. She does. She does. I'm not lying. This isn't sexist. She's just got a bit of a belly on her. She looks like she's had a few kids. She does a school drop off. She enjoys comfort food of a night time watching her favourite TV show. She doesn't look like she should be having a gun standing in front of Donald Trump. If she was protecting me, I'd say put the gun down, love. Do you know what I mean? Go and make a sandwich. It's not meant as a sexist thing. It's more just what she really looks like. There's some women out there, I've got no doubt, who'd be great in that job. She's not one of them. Now, it's ironic because the head of the Secret Service is a woman. And look, I'm sure she got her job on merit and not because she's a woman and all of that. But she has recently come out and explained her goals for the Secret Service.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030 and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
Call me crazy, but if you'd spent less time training up YouTubers to be Secret Service agents for the day and more time preparing for assassination attempts, maybe you'd have been ready for this.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that
we do not like mistakes. I realized that after this. If there is a mistake in America, we want answers, nigga. You're gonna have to explain how the fuck this happened. And somebody's getting fired.
our workforce, and particularly women.
Okay, so she specifically said she wants diversity and more women. Do you know what I would want if my job was saving lives? People who are really good. I wouldn't care what background you came from. I'd care that you were good enough. Do you not think that should be the fucking priority, like? Because I know in this modern world we're in, people are trying to diversify and give equal opportunities to make sure that all...
man, I was looking at even the white security guards protecting Donald Trump. I was not impressed. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But then again, who knows? They're probably professional killers. Who knows? I don't know. But literally, remember, I see Nancy Pelosi, the one that shot through the door. Man, that nigga ain't playing. That's who I need. I need a what? Y'all remember Nancy Pelosi? Let's go to Nancy Pelosi. Y'all don't forgot about. I hope she bought that guy a car. That nigga shot through the door. All them cops got out of the way. I ain't gonna lie, that was a plot too. You see? So everybody's been running plots. Niggas been running plots. It's a dangerous world we live in. Niggas been running plots. Right under. We've been talked about that though. I've been knew that ever since they hit Nancy Pelosi's head, husband with a hammer. I said, of course, that was just a real crazy guy, but it just shows us like, bro, the rhetoric on the country is getting too much. I hope y'all know what y'all doing, cause soon they're gonna start killing each other. I know what you're thinking. Oh, Americans, they should be smarter than that. Listen, I used to think that too. But something about them we starting to love violence too much. That's a problem. Everybody wants violence. Everybody wants to be violent. Not me, man. I'm done. I give up on violence. Never liked violence to begin with. Yeah, Biden's interview. Y'all heard this interview? It sounded so bad, bro. I said, bro, Biden. You know what, y'all? Keep Biden in here. Go ahead. Y'all got it. Y'all win. Keep Biden in here. It's over, man. I ain't even trying to say keep him.
The unfortunate reality
this man is just as stubborn as fucking Donald Trump. I thought you said you're not gonna be blaming people. Nigga came on TV just to blame Donald Trump. All right, well, you just waste people's time.
Biden is not that guy. He's not. This interview was also bad. He showed it once again. He tried. He can't do it.
Good evening and welcome to our
All
special
right, it's time,
coverage.
folks.
We're live at the White House, where earlier today I sat down for an exclusive one. Mr. President, thank you for sitting down with us.
Of Jill and me, and I hope his whole family was weathering this.
You were in Delaware when this happened. What was your first reaction?
My first reaction was, my God, look, there's so much violence now, the way we talk about it. I mean, the whole notion that there is this, there's no place at all for violence in politics in America. None. Zero. And we've reached a point where it's become too commonplace, not assassinations, but to talk about it. For example, the January 6th, the attack on the Capitol. Lester, I got in this race early on in 2020 for the 2020 race. I wasn't going to run again because I lost my son.
Oh my God, he restarted.
And
he rebooted.
Until I watched what happened in Charlottesville,
rebooted back
Virginia.
to the Charlottesville
Those
shit.
folks coming out of the woods with torches, carrying swastikas, singing the same Nazi bile that was accompanied by this Ku Klux Klan, and a young woman was killed. And I was a bystander. And the then president was asked, what do you think? He said, they're very fine people on both sides. Not fine people on both sides. No excuse, zero.
Well, let's talk about the conversation this has started, and it's really about language, what we say out loud and the consequences of those. You called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that
I didn't say
words matter.
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing. Focus on his policies. Focus on the number of lies he told in the debate. Focus. I mean, There's a whole range of things that, look, I'm not the guy that said, I want to be a dictator on day one. I'm not the guy that refused to accept the outcome of the election. I'm not the guy who said that won't accept the outcome of this election automatically. You can't only love your country when you win. And so the focus was on what he's saying, and I mean, the idea.
But have you taken a step back and done a little soul searching on things that you may have said that could incite people who are not balanced?
Well, I don't think, look, how do you talk about the threat to democracy, which is real, when a president says things like he says? Do you just not say anything because it may incite somebody? Look, I have not engaged in that rhetoric. Now, my opponent is engaged in that rhetoric. He talks about there'll be a bloodbath if he loses, talking about how he's going to forgive all the, actually, I guess, suspend the sentences of all those who were arrested and sentenced to go to jail because of what happened in the Capitol. I'm not out there making fun of, like, remember the picture of Donald Trump when Nancy Pelosi's husband was hit with a hammer, talking about, joking about it.
This doesn't sound like you're turning down the heat, though. You've talked about the...
No. Look, what I'm turning down, we have to stop the whole notion that there are certain things that are contrary to our democracy that we're for. The idea of saying that I didn't win the election, when every court in the land, I don't know, 20 appeals said, including this conservative Supreme Court, said we won. The idea of
at this point, you need like a guide to understand exactly what he means. You need to be so tuned into politics to know what he's saying. I think the average voter watches this and goes, "What the f is going on?"
And what will you do? At least things you can control to lower down the temperature, the rhetoric out there.
Continue to talk about the things that matter to the American public. It matters whether or not you accept the outcome of elections. It matters whether or not you, for example, talk about how you're going to deal with the border instead of talking about people as being vermin. And I mean, those things matter. That's the kind of language that is inflammatory.
Mr. President, you've been in politics a very long time, so let's speak frankly. We're all adults here. Has this shooting changed the trajectory of this race?
I don't know, and you don't know either.
I don't know, but something you've given thought to?
No, I've thought less about the trajectory of the case than two things. One, what his health is, that was secure, number one. And number two, what happens from here on in terms of the kind of coverage that the president and vice president and former president and new vice president get in terms of, look, I've never seen a circumstance where you ride through certain rural areas of the country and people have signs there, big Trump signs with middle signs saying F Biden, and a little kid standing there putting up his middle finger. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that is just inflammatory and a kind of viciousness. It's a very different thing than to say, look, I really disagree with the way he takes care of taxes, the way he wants a $5 trillion tax cut for people who are making a lot of money next time
he's
around.
right.
Doesn't focus on
and he's
working
trying to
class
make a
people.
coherent point, and his delivery is so god-awful.
A country that can thoroughly hash out those issues.
And if you notice, what do I talk about with him? The policy issues where he's dividing the country, the policy issues that relate to democracy.
Another question, if I can, about Saturday. Of course, the former president was wounded. One of his supporters died. A couple more people were seriously injured. Was this a massive security failure?
I have had 2 meetings in the Situation Room with all the intelligence communities, the FBI, Secret Service, et cetera, and I've asked for a totally independent analysis, and we'll see what happens when that comes back.
Do you have confidence in the Secret Service? Do you feel safe?
I feel safe with the Secret Service, but look, and you saw what we did see was the Secret Service who responded risked their lives in responding. They're ready to give their lives to the president. The question is, should they have anticipated what happened? should they have done what they needed to do to prevent this from happening? That's a question that's an open question.
Is it acceptable that you have still not heard, at least publicly, from the Secret Service director?
Well, I've heard from them.
But have you heard from her publicly?
Publicly, I've sat down in a situation room downstairs with the Secret Service, the FBI. The
No,
national
he
security
means like,
agencies,
do you think it's
the
acceptable they haven't released a public statement?
elements. And there's two pieces of this too. And it's not an excuse, it's just an explanation.
Oh,
There's
he
a
didn't understand
major
the
piece of this
question.
relates to domestic, local law enforcement. They play a large role. And so it's a different competent. I'm not saying they weren't competent either. I'm just saying it's a complicated process. And what has changed, by the way, Lester, is you know me, I like to meet people. I like to walk out, shake hands, move, look at people in the eye, see what they're thinking. It's really curtailed that ability on my part and everybody's part. And so, because there's a heightened notion that when you say there's nothing wrong with going to the Capitol, breaking in, threatening people, a couple cops dying, hanging up, putting up a noose, a gallows for the former vice president. And somehow and then you say you're going to forgive people for that? You're going to pardon them? That was just a normal response? That is not. I have my entire career voted against and railed against and moved against the idea of violence is never appropriate. Never, 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 never in politics.
All right, I want to ask you about some other developing news today, if I can. Judge Cannon dismissed the documents case, as you may have heard, in Mar-a-Lago. Can I first get your reaction to that?
I'm not surprised. It comes from the immunity decision the Supreme Court ruled on, and Clarence Thomas, in his dissent, said that independent prosecutors appointed by the Attorney General aren't legit. That's the basis on which this judge moved to dismiss. And, but I had an independent prosecutor look at me. They spent months on my going through, and I was totally cooperative, in and out of my house. And there were, I don't know, the last time in, there were like 10, 12 agents in my house for 9 hours unaccompanied, going through every single thing I had. That's appropriate. And they looked at me and concluded I didn't do a damn thing wrong. But my generic point is that it's, well, the basis upon which the case was thrown out, I find specious because I don't agree with Clarence Thomas' dissent and or the Supreme Court decision on immunity.
In light of this decision, the delay in the Georgia case, the Supreme Court decision on immunity, which you referenced, the former president has seen a series of legal wins recently. You have actively campaigned on his legal woes. Can you do anything like that anymore?
Sure. I can talk about what I think is appropriate. What I think is appropriate. I think the Supreme Court made a terrible decision. I think the justices he appointed have, in fact, been the most conservative. And I would argue, if you survey constitutional scholarship, they seem out of touch with what the founders intended.
Before this violent turn of events over the weekend, the talk, as you know, was about you and your future, if you should stay in the race. Your allies, James Clyburn, Nancy Pelosi, have kind of put it out there that they're waiting for your decision, giving you time to make your decision. What I hear from you is that you made your decision. Are you still comfortable in that decision? Has anything changed in the last several days?
No.
What do you make of people like Nancy Pelosi, though, who seem to be of the opinion that there is a window for you to make this choice? What aren't they getting?
That's a good question.
Look, we knew this was going to be a close race from the moment he announced.
No.
The idea that we are in a situation where, if you look at all the polling data shows a lot of different things, but there's no wide gap between us. It's essentially a toss-up race. And I think One of the arguments that get made, you have the most successful presidency of any president in modern history, maybe since Franklin Roosevelt. Passed more major legislation no one thought could get done. We're able to put together consensus. We're able to unite NATO. We're able to deal in foreign policy. Why don't you just decide to rest on
Nobody cares about NATO, dude. Oh my God, you're a dumbass.
Because the job's not finished.
You're a dumbass.
Do you feel
You're
like
dumb.
you've weathered the storm on this issue of whether you should be on the ticket or not?
Look, 14 million people voted for me to be the nominee in the Democratic Party. Okay? I listen to them.
That's a terrible argument.
In your last TV interview, you were asked if you had watched the debate, and your answer was, I don't think so, no. Have you since seen it?
I've seen pieces of it. I've not watched the whole debate.
And the reason I ask, because I guess the question is, are you all on the same page? Are you seeing what they saw, which was moments of, frankly, that appeared to be, you appeared to be confused?
Lester, look, why don't you guys ever talk about the 28 lies he told? Where are you on this? Why didn't the press ever talk about that? 28 times it's confirmed he lied in that debate. I had a bad, bad night. I wasn't feeling well at all. And I had been, without it making it, I screwed up. But
I just asked the question because the idea that you may
Good thing he's having a good night now. Sorry.
What some of these other folks have seen, you're not on the same.
I'd have to see I was there. I'd have to see it. I was there. And by the way, seriously, you won't answer the question, but why didn't the press talk about all the lies he told?
Well,
I haven't heard anything about that.
We have reported many of the issues that came up during that debate.
No, you haven't.
We'll provide you with them.
God love you.
Okay. President Obama put out a statement after the debate, but should he and Michelle Obama be doing more to express their confidence in you?
No, they're helping me. They've helped me from the beginning. This is my job to get this done.
Have you talked to him recently about this?
I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks.
Have you talked to him since this issue came to light, since the debate?
I don't think, I may have. I don't think so.
Who do you listen to on deeply personal issues, like the decisions whether to stay in the race or not?
Me. Look, I've been doing this a long time. The idea that I'm the old guy, I am. I'm old. But I'm only 3 years older than Trump, number one. And number two, my mental acuity's been pretty damn good. I've gotten more done than any president has in a long, long time, in 3.5 years. So I'm willing to be judged on that. I understand why people say, God, he's 81 years old. Whoa, what's he going to be when he's 83 years old or 84 years old? It's a legitimate question to ask.
I want to ask you about, just shortly before you and I sat down, former President Trump named his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. What does that tell you, his qualities? What?
Only 3 years older than Trump, number one. And number two, my mental acuity's been pretty damn good. I've gotten more done than any president has in a long, long time, in 3.5 years. So I'm willing to be judged on that. I understand why people say, God, he's 81 years old. Whoa, what's he going to be when he's 83 years old or 84 years old? It's a legitimate question to ask.
I want to ask you about, just shortly before you and I sat down, former President Trump named his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance. What does that tell you, his qualities? What does that tell you about former President Trump's values in terms of who he will surround himself with in a next administration should he win?
Well, it's not unusual. He's going to surround himself with people who agree completely with him. Have a voting record. I support him. Even though if you go back and listen to the things that J.D. Vance said about Trump.
Well, he said some things about you, yeah.
Oh, no, well, he said something about me, but see what he said about Trump. What's with you guys? Come on, man. Look, the point I'm making is that J.D. Vance has adopted the same policies. No exceptions on abortion, making sure that he supports the new $5 trillion tax cut that Trump wants to give in the next administration. Signing on to the whole notion of whether or not we're going to, he says there's no climate change happening. I mean, he signed on to the Trump agenda, which he should if he's running with Trump.
Mr. Trump has said he's giving you a chance to redeem yourself. Basically, the idea of engaging in another debate.
We're going to have another debate.
Yeah, you're going to have one in September that's on the books. Would you be open to doing one in the next few weeks?
I'm going to debate him when we agreed to debate, and I'm going to debate him in September.
But if the opportunity came up to do one between now and then, is there a sense of wanting to get back on the horse?
I'm on the horse. Where have you been? I've done 22 major events.
Oh my God.
With thousands of people.
Deflecting. Oh my God.
People, overwhelming crowds, a lot happening. I'm on the horse. What I'm doing is going out and demonstrating to the American people that I have command of all my faculties, that I don't need notes, I don't need teleprompter. I can go out and answer any questions at all. And I stood there when NATO was in town. I stood there for an hour and answered questions.
If you were to continue to run and be officially nominated, what happens if you have another episode like we saw during the debate?
What happens if another?
Yeah, what happens if you have on that level?
I don't plan on having another performance on that level.
All right. Mr. President, it's always good to talk to you, good to see you. Thank you for making some time for us.
Sometimes come and talk to me about what we should be talking about.
All right.
Okay, the issues.
Always happy to talk.
Oh yeah,
That was our unedited conversation with
God bless Joe. He's done a lot for this country. God bless him.
President Biden. We should note we extended the same interview offer to Mr. Trump to sit down with us on the first night of the Democratic National Convention when it happens next month. For now, let me bring in my colleague Savannah Guthrie in Milwaukee with more of our coverage of both our interview and night one of the Republican National.
Overall, my immediate assessment of the interview is that the media loves to do actual journalism when they see someone is getting weak, and then there's a narrative set in the media against said narrative. Sometimes it's valid. Biden's senility is a valid target. Other times it's not valid. Like, for example, taking the right-wing framing on political rhetoric leading to violence on the Democratic front. Stochastic terror is very real. It's very real and conducted almost every single time by the right. Right-wing political rhetoric is unimaginably violent. Right-wing legislative agenda is unimaginably violent. Right-wing politicians are also very violent with the terms that they use, in the way that they make fun of and minimize the victims of violence, in the way that they openly demand violence. The fact that you could turn around and tell this tepid, middle-of-the-ground, neoliberal, centrist cadaver that his private closed-door meeting with donors where he said, we got to put Trump in the bullseye, like reframe the conversation around Donald Trump, using that colloquialism as like somehow leading to a registered Republican attempting to kill Donald Trump is insane, okay? You are not a serious person. You are not a serious person when you do that. You are a charlatan. You are trying to present yourself. You see the blood in the water, and you're trying to present yourself as a centrist and an unbiased arbiter of information when you are being unimaginably biased, okay? I hate that shit. I absolutely hate that shit. Now,
That sounds like you. that sounds like what you do all the time.
Contentious conversation, an apt, decent orator is going to be able to run circles around that narrative because it's such a demonstrable hypocrisy, okay? It is such an unimaginable double standard. Like, it's so glaringly obvious for anyone with eyes to see that, like, if we're talking about words or violence, we have to literally lock up every elected Republican representative pretty much, okay? Every single one. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's completely beyond reason. Now, having said that, the unfortunate reality is Biden is not that guy. He's not. He showed it once again. He can't do it. He tried, and the only people who would be able to understand what he's saying in those moments are people like us who are, unfortunately, very autistically hyperfixated on politics, even when it's on its off times, even when it's, popping off. We are dialed in. We're lasered in. We know what Biden is saying. We know what the Democratic Party's messaging is on this. Half the time, I know exactly what the questioning is going to be, what the talking points are from the Democratic side, from the Republican side, from the media. And if you know that, then yeah, you can make sense of what Biden is saying. But if you're an average voter that's tuning in just now on NBC News to see the president, Okay? The president speak to Lester Holt, you're going to be shocked at his demonstration. Okay? His demonstration was ass. It was bad. There's no other way to put it. Okay? His complex interview was bad. This interview was also bad. There's no locking in. He can't lock in any further. He's locked. His mind is locked. And it's not just him slurring. It's not just the stutter. He's just having a very hard time crafting coherent sentences. Okay? That's just the reality. And right now.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Right. You're right. You're right. It's obvious. You're right. And it's obvious. So the Democrats are in a. Oh my God. It does. Yeah. It's pretty bad right now.
Right now, with this timing, should Sotomayor resign? Why? What? She's not even that old. What are we talking about? How old is Sotomayor? I don't think she's that old. Yeah, she's 70. She's literally the second youngest Supreme Court justice. Or third youngest, I think. Anyway, first off, dumbass is on X. He's seen yelling at Trump supporters. Are you slow, kid? He wasn't a Republican. Do you need to show your dumbass proof with links and facts in whisper to show you him yelling at Trump supporters, calling them fascists? Are you slow? I have not seen this. But you know what I have seen? Every local media coverage on all of his friends from school being interviewed, and every single one of them in unison saying that he was a loner, he was kind of a weirdo, he was a fine student, while simultaneously saying that his family is Trump supporters, and he definitely was conservative. Now, I don't know. He was on a BlackRock ad. I'm going to ask you with all sincerity, do you think BlackRock is a liberal institution? No, like for real. Like every single person that was around this kid is like, yeah, he was a conservative. He was a conservative. He's registered the Republican Party, and you're like, no, he was in a BlackRock ad. Yeah, I know. I know the BlackRock ad. We watched it on stream. If you think that that has any real connection to his political allegiance, and not simply he was in an ad because he was taking the class of a dude who was running an ad for BlackRock, which, you know, handles teachers' pensions. It was a B2B ad, or it might not have even been a B2B ad to be real, but it was a BlackRock ad to show like, oh, we take care of the teachers, like because they control the pensions, and how those pensions are the same BlackRock that's involved in Ukraine and Russia. Oh no. Oh no. You're brain dead. B2B is Hosanna Brat. No, it means business to business ad. Oh no. That's the same people who knows Trump wants to pull out. Someone being featured for 3 seconds in a BlackRock ad on teachers' pensions because he happened to be in the classroom does not create this conspiracy that you think is happening, where BlackRock cut an ad 4 years prior with like a 16-year-old in high school that they were gearing up to make the assassin of Donald Trump. Is that what you genuinely think is going on? Like they were like, oh, we found him when he was 16 years old and we knew he would be the perfect killer of Donald Trump. That's why we then made him donate on Joe Biden's inauguration to Act Blue. And then we made him register as a Republican. And we then went and purchased a gun YouTuber's merch, and then we made him take his father's gun and plant himself on top of a rooftop, waiting for the perfect opportunity, knowing full well that inevitably 4 years in the future, Donald Trump would obviously go to his campaign like 30 miles from where he lives. The perfect plan. Do you think that that was what was going on? And that was because BlackRock also, when they cut that ad, knew that Vladimir Putin was going to invade Ukraine, and they hated that, and knew that Donald Trump would inevitably pull out of Ukraine if he were to win. And that's why they had to execute him. The amount of strings that you need to attach in order for this to make sense is so goddamn creative, dude. Respect. You got it. You nailed it. What? Chatter's talking about this old video that's circulating. Crazy leftist on college campus. This isn't him, dude. He didn't even go to college. And I don't even think this is from Pennsylvania.
Actually, he went to community college.
This is ASU, I think. And it's literally from 4 years ago when he was in high school. You think that's the guy? You think every pasty dude with like long hair is the same guy? It's the Nick Mullen bit. 9/11 is all set to go. Now for the last step, the clues. Yeah. That's crazy. Where'd the chatter go? Is he still here? I want to hear from him. I want to hear from the brilliant mind. Viewer numbers trending down again. Yeah, dude, I know. My downfall must be studied. It's crazy. Instead of 40,000, I have 39,000. It's really bad. Keep this up, chatter. I've fallen off. Just wait like 2 weeks before people stop paying attention to politics again. And then, you know, then it will be like a valid moment for you to say this. Have a sandwich and a simile? Yeah. Not to derail, but Trump is speaking tonight. The media is very nebulous. I don't know if Trump is speaking tonight. I'm still here. I don't think this was the guy. Is it the guy? Oh, it is the guy. The FGC ghost. Okay. It is the guy. Okay. Instead of saying, I'm still here, what do you have to say? Instead of saying, I'm still here, what do you have to say that everything that I just described to you? The evidence that you have for this kid being the same kid as the Trump shooter, it's wrong. You could have figured that out on your own. You could have figured that out by, you know, investigating a little bit further, seeing if this is the Arizona campus or not, okay? You could have also figured that out by potentially looking at the timeline, realizing that this person was in high school back then, you know? But you didn't do that. But it took literally 30 seconds. The video itself says students for ASU, students for Trump at ASU. It's from 2020, 4 years ago. He would have been 16. He never went to college. And not only did he never go to college, but he did not go to Arizona. He was not in Arizona. And how do you know that? How do I know that? I'm telling you things. He was 16 years old. Do you think he like just flew out to Arizona to yell at Trump supporting students in Arizona as a one-off? And then in that 4-year process, in the next 3 years, he found himself registering for the Republican Party. You have to, at a certain point, realize, like, if I'm connecting so many dots for this narrative to make sense in my mind, like, perhaps the narrative that's making sense in my mind is not true. And it's okay. Sometimes we invest ourselves in a grand narrative, a grand design that might not be true, okay? Register for Republican, but donate to the Democratic campaign. Yes, if you were listening to my words, I already mentioned that. He donated $15 to Act Blue from a potential push poll on an email that was basically like fishing for donos. Stop spreading the lies. He was Mongolian and he's only the vanguard for a larger invasion. Yeah. Through Act Blue, not to Act Blue, sorry. Through Act. So, you won't give up. I really, no, the donation wasn't made by a different guy with the same name. It was him. He made the donation. That was also misinformation going around on the liberal front. What do you think he did first? What Democrat do you know donates on the day of the inauguration to the Biden campaign? To like a Democratic PAC? What Democrat is that ride or die? And then they turn around a couple months later, literally register to the Republican Party. I don't want to look at his Twitter and then make fun of him for believing every TikTok he watches. That's gonna make me sad. Peter6709, thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Chatter, it's okay. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to not know certain things. It's okay to not understand. But the smart thing to do in that situation is to be like, you know, maybe I didn't get this right. It's all right. The dumb thing to do in that situation is to double down and be like, nah, this conspiracy theory that I've invested myself into,
yes, of course,
all things considered, kind of sounds insane, but I'm still going to believe it. And if that's the route you want to take, go ahead. Plenty of easily tricked adults out here, and you can be one of them.
Questions.
Anyway, David Sachs had a seriously low TRNC speech. That's not surprising. It's David Sachs. Sean O'Brien praises JD Vance. He's scheduled to speak at the RNC in 20 minutes. What the fuck? That's not surprising. He literally met with Donald Trump, if you remember. Donald O'Brien is a bit of a hog. By the way, Elon Musk has said he's committing around $45 million a month to new pro-Trump super PACs. New pay pick unlocked. Explain why you believe the USS didn't act after 8 shots were already fired. It wasn't 8 shots. I think they acted after 2 shots or 1 shot, if I'm not mistaken. All the shots that you hear in the video are mostly from the snipers. They like immediately killed him. The real question is, how the fuck did the Secret Service not actually cover that rooftop? That's a real question. That's a valid question. The incompetence from the police and the Secret Service is mind-boggling and outright shocking, as a matter of fact. You'd rather watch Vance and company try to take working class people for a ride, and truly any commentators falling for it are at best morons, guy's a class traitor. You actually can say neither the Democratic Party nor the Republican Party give much of a shit about working class people. You don't have to fall for a snake oil salesman. No better term for anyone who falls for the stick to use for idiots who was picked to help secure tech execs endorsements and donations, which he is now doing, and then to make a play for working class people, which you are helping him do. Yeah. Anyone that tries to even remotely claim that a right-wing Republican is actually pro-labor is the biggest baboon on the planet. Sorry. Okay, you're just horny to come across. You're just horny to come across like a heterodox thinker, and you are no different than Tim Pool. That's it. Generations. Is JD Vance even that bad? He helps represent Ohio and is a veteran. Come on, dude. Stop.
It is not for the faint of heart, I assure you. To know what the future will bring, what be not just your fate, but it is a challenge. But as I have it also fills me with purpose. And that purpose, what guides me, and you are welcome.
Here we go, top of the hour on a Friday with President Biden getting ready for yet another test of his candidacy. He is about to hold a rally in Michigan as more Democrats and donors are pushing for him to drop out. We'll look at whether there's any way for him to change their minds. Plus, pretty much all of the customers of one of the country's biggest cell phone companies are victims of a hack. Their call and text records stolen. We'll tell you what was taken in this massive breach and how you can make sure your data is safe. Plus, the heat wave just keeps rolling on, and the blackout. They've turned deadly in Houston. We're live on the ground as thousands may not have their power back for days. Are you kidding me? And high drama today at the Alec Baldwin trial in New Mexico. The claim his lawyers are making that could get that case thrown out. We'll tell you how it all played out in front of the cameras. Then why West Coast dams are being blown up so a river can be restored to its past glory. That's coming up in tonight's Original. Good day, I'm Tom Costello. I am in for Hallie, and tonight we start with President Biden still holding on despite more Democrats turning on him. One Democratic lawmaker telling Mr. Biden he should step aside, telling him face to face, that according to several sources. And more donors are turning away. In just an hour from now, we're going to see President Biden hit the campaign trail in Michigan at the podium right there. You're looking live. And yet another test of his candidacy. And right now, though, he is in Northville, Michigan at a campaign organizing event at a bar with Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. He's speaking live. There's a live shot, and he is speaking. We're listening. If we will tell you, rather, if he says anything that we think we need to break in and inform you about. As we are just now hearing reports that some of the biggest Democratic donors in the country are withholding a whopping $90 million in funds as long as President Biden stays in the race. That according to two sources who talked to the New York Times. But President Biden remains defiant, defending his fitness for office in that big news conference just 24 hours ago. The president sticking to his script that he is not going anywhere unless his team comes to him and says there's no way he'd win. Now, some of his campaign staff are telling our team exactly that. But it's not clear if they're taking that message directly to the president. And the view on Capitol Hill really is just more uncertainty, with the president joining calls with members of key congressional caucuses today. Here's the big question. Could the president possibly stop the political bleeding? Because take a look at this. More and more Dems are still coming out, even in just the last few hours, calling on the president to drop out. Our team is talking to voters on the ground, former Biden voters who now want him to step aside. Take a listen.
I love that man. He's done more for black people than any president I know. I think it's time for him to step down.
I was a Biden supporter right up until the debate. Now I really would like to see an open convention.
All right, we've got team coverage. NBC's Julie Sirkin is posted on Capitol Hill, but we begin with Monica Alba, who's at the White House. And Monica, the pressure on Biden not letting up. You've got this new reporting about a Democrat calling on the president to drop out in a video call late today, not to mention major donors now freezing their money unless he drops out, right?
Exactly, Tom. And the president has said it all week long. He's dug in. He's defiant. He intends to stay in this race. But now he is having the opportunity to hear from at least one House Democrat who has gone on the record and publicly called for him to step aside and leave the race. And that is Congressman Mike Levin, who we understand was a part of this video call earlier today with some other House Democrats who we are told said to the president, look, I respect you for your service and your decades in public office. And I know that Democrats want to rally around this desire to beat Donald Trump in November, but it is time for new leadership. And I think respectfully, Mr. President, you should pass the torch. And so that is what he told the president. And according to a source that was really a part of this, they told us that the president responded saying, look, I understand. I acknowledge your concerns. I know they're valid, but I'm going to keep getting out there. I'm going to do exactly what you see him doing there on that side of the screen. I'm going to continue to talk to voters. I'm going to continue to try to make sure that people can kind of feel like some of their anxieties or concerns might be answered, like what he's doing now today in Michigan. Tom.
Yeah, you know, the president is just under such a microscope. His every move monitored and critiqued. What might he say or do to try to turn a page here? That seems like a huge challenge.
And it does feel like every single day we're talking about some new benchmark with which to evaluate it. And it was that first major network interview, and then it was some of those campaign stops, and then it was this press conference last night to wrap up NATO. Now it's perhaps Monday's pivotal interview with our own colleague, Lester Holt, and then a couple of other campaign events that he's going to be having in Texas and Nevada that follow. So I think basically everything the president is now doing publicly will continue to be scrutinized, but according to his campaign, according to the White House, he is just trying to be out there, and they have conceded that maybe he hasn't had as many unscripted moments as he should have had, and they're going to attempt to rectify that in part. Tom.
By the way, Monica, as you speak, if the president says anything about staying in or dropping out of the race, we'll dip back in. But let's just say people close to the president somehow convinced him to step aside. What would the process look like for presumably Vice President Harris to become the nominee? That's not just an overnight quick fix, right?
Right. And I have to say, Tom, I think really, truly, it will be completely up to Joe Biden to make that decision. And even if there are people that come to him and tell him that there's no path or that there's an issue, again, that will still really reside with him and him alone. But let's say that he does down the line come to that conclusion and decides that he isn't going to be the Democratic nominee. The thinking and the kind of what he laid out last night in this press conference is that he would essentially back his vice president. He said, I wouldn't have chosen Kamala Harris to be my running mate if I didn't believe that she could be president. But in terms of the infrastructure and some of the millions that have been raised, that is what would go to her directly. It would be far more complicated if there were a larger conversation about the delegates. But if he decided that essentially it would be her, then those delegates would be her own. And then the money and the staff that's already been raised would be transferred to her if that decision were to take place. Though, again, we're told the president says he is still in this and does not intend to leave the race.
Yep, it's a very big if. All right, thank you, Monica. Let's go to Julie Sirkin now. She's on Capitol Hill. Julie, give us the gut reality check there. The president joined calls with lawmakers earlier today, and things, I understand, got rather tense. What are you hearing from lawmakers?
Yeah, Tom, he joined 2 separate calls today. He has at least 2 more on the hook tomorrow with different factions of the Democratic caucus as he hears from members directly expressing their concerns. Today, he had 2 meetings, one with the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, where, as you heard Monica report, our sources told us that Mike Levin, who became the latest Democrat in just the last couple of hours to publicly call on Biden to pass the torch, as he said in a statement, a Democrat from California, he told Biden directly on this call, according to our sources, 3 different things here. He said, 1, look, Mr. President, I respect your record. Of course, this is not a direct quote. This is just a summary of what he told Biden. I respect your record, but we need to put the strongest candidate forward to win in November against Donald Trump. He said that is not Biden at this time, asking him again, of course, to pass the torch. So really interesting that these are having direct conversations between the president and members on these calls who are very concerned in recent days, given that debate performance and everything since.
Yeah, and one of the most influential lawmakers on the Hill with deep ties to the president was on the Today Show this morning. Let's play just a piece of that, what he told Craig Melvin.
Hypothetically, if the president does decide to step aside and it's Vice President Harris, does she have your full-throated endorsement?
Absolutely.